function f of x equals -1 plus 0.5x is shown on the coordinate plane. So we've graphed a linear equation. It asks for what value of x does f of x equal 0? Okay, for what value of x does f of x equal 0? You could use the equation here or the graph. I'm going to look at the graph, and I can see, and it's helpful because I can actually draw on this graph, whereas if you're taking the online test, you can't. But I can see on the graph that f of -6 is equal to 4. And I can see that f of -4 is equal to -3. This needed a negative sign. I can see that f of -2 is equal to -2. I can see that f of 0 is equal to -1. And I can see that f of 2 is equal to 0. And f of 4 is equal to 1. So just looking at the graph, I can see that the graph, on the f of x axis at 0, it corresponds with 2 on the x-axis. So if I'm entering a solution, I'm going to enter a 2 in that box. The other option that we would have, though, would be to use the equation f of x equals -1 plus 0.5x, and say, when is this going to equal 0? Okay, when will f of x be equal to 0? Well, if I just put a 0 in place of f of x right here, okay, when will this function equal 0? Let me solve this equation for x. If I add 1 on both sides, I have 1 is equal to 0.5x. And if I divide by 0.5 on both sides, I get 2 is equal to x. So whether I look at the graph or use the equation, I can see that f of x is equal to 0 when x is equal to 2. And so the number I would type in the box is 2.